Okay, oo nga pala, on Friday, I'll post the quiz for lecture 2 on nuclear chemistry. And last week I was away because I said that I would be attending national convention of the Philippine Institute of Chemical Engineers. And guys, sobrang inspiring, as in sobrang life-changing ng convention. Actually, to be honest, I attended there for the points lang. Kasi once you're licensed, you will be required to renew your license. And to renew your license, um, you will be you will need to maintain um, a certain, or you need to accumulate certain points called CPD points, or continuing professional development CPD points. Tapos you gain points by attending conventions, mga seminars related to your profession. So in my case, I should attend convention seminars related to chemical engineering. So that's the reason why I attended the convention. Kasi nga, para makarenew ako ng license 3 years from now. Tapos, yun lang dapat yung intention ko. Like, for the points lang. Pero guys, sobrang inspiring talaga. As in, to be honest, that attending that convention inspired me to pursue further studies. Um, Bale, one of the one of the speakers there made an impact on me talaga and made me realize na grabe, there's so much we can do. There's so much problems in the world that we can do something about as engineers, as scientists. Kayo as anong class to? ME, as mechanical engineers, sobrang dami nating pwedeng gawin to change the world. And I think one of the attendance Google Forms, I asked you, di ba, what is the greatest problem that you see in the Philippines right now, or something like that, something along that line. Tapos some of you answered na COVID-19, and some of you also answered na poverty. And some of you, I'm not sure if na-bring up pero yung water shortage sa bansa. Yung mga yun, some of those, maybe there's something we can do something about. Yeah. So that's the goal naman of studying. That's the goal of us wanting to have a license, to be a licensed mechanical engineer, so that we can serve, 'di ba? Sana yun yung gusto nyo. Actually, well, kung hindi yun yung gusto nyo, or kung iba yung reason nyo, let's say, yumaman, okay lang din naman kung yun talaga yung nakikita nyo yung purpose in life. Yun, I just hope some of you, meron ding yung purpose niya sa tingin niya is to serve others, ganyan, or to serve your family, serve the country, serve the world, reach out to the poor communities, ganyan, assess which aspects of their lifestyle need improvement. Sa water ba, kailangan ba nila ng improvement sa water quality kasi wala silang access sa clean water, or let's say they need improvement in the food security kasi yung iba walang constant source of food. So yun, I'm sure na you as mechanical engineers, I hope that you can develop that mindset as well. Na, oh nga no, maybe I've been living for myself too long. Maybe I need to expand my box. I need to see what is beyond me, beyond myself. So how can I serve others? So yeah, I hope you reach that point also. Na hindi ko alam kung ano yung mag-i-inspire sa inyo to do it. Possible this pep talk, this intro sa discussion natin, or possible some other factor, but I hope something triggers you also to think that way. Na, oh nga no, how can I help others, or what can I do to help others? And using my knowledge, using my skills, or maybe I need to upgrade my skills pa, I need to hone my skills, my expertise in a certain field. What can I do to help others? So yeah, that's all for this afternoon. Thank you for Joke lang, that's not all. Side note, meron kaming isang speaker. Yung one of the speakers of the National Convention was the director of the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, PNRI. And di ba we just discussed nuclear chemistry? And ang dami kong sinabing masama about nuclear energy. Well, hindi naman masama. Sinabi ko lang na ito yung mga cons of using a nuclear power plant. And during the National Convention, in a way, um, hindi naman dinebunk, but in a way, he presented solutions to those problems. For example, I raised the issue of sa discussion natin last week, I raised the issue of nuclear waste, disposal of nuclear waste. Si PNRI director, I'm not, si Dr. Arcilia, sabi niya na there's one way that we can dispose of the waste. And to do that, we just use a layer of, kasi for example, yung nuclear waste, positively charged siya. So we use a layer that would coat the, let's say, containment of the nuclear waste, and then we bury this nuclear waste somewhere. For example, sa may islands tayo sa West Philippine Sea. Pilipinas yon, believe it or not. Pilipinas yun na island. So, pwede natin i-utilize yun na area para we bury the waste, and based nga dun sa, I forgot what material he talked about, pero there's this material that we coat this nuclear waste with, yung container ng nuclear waste, such that hindi talaga, impossible talaga mag-leak ang nuclear waste. So alam mo yun, ang daming solutions talaga sa mga problema sa mundo. And isa lang yun, yung sa nuclear waste. And he even encouraged na andito na tayo sa point na pwede talaga natin i-improve ang energy ng bansa. Like, di ba, sinabi ko na yung Pilipinas, hindi pa tayo gumagamit ng nuclear energy kasi wala tayong nuclear power plant. Pero yung PNRI, yung Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, andun sila they are already developing whatever they can develop in terms of nuclear energy. So andun sila sa mode na let's do what we can. Tapos, he even encouraged us na mag-pursue daw ng graduate studies on nuclear engineering. As in, he really encouraged people na, guys, mag-nuclear engineering na kayo kasi may patutunguhan talaga to. And as I mentioned nga, di ba, last week na sobrang laki talaga ng energy na kayang ma-generate ng nuclear power plants. And kaya kasi mahal yung electricity sa Pilipinas is because mahal yung pinagkukuhaan natin ng energy. Now, ano ba yung sources of energy? Which brings us to this next lecture. Wow. Smooth transition. Pero ayun na, if interested kayo, to encourage you lang din, if interested kayo mag-pursue ng nuclear engineering, possible kasi yun na yung background nyo ngayon, mechanical engineering. Tapos sobrang na-inspire kayo na, so parang interested nga ako mag-nuclear nuclear engineering for masters. Then go, I strongly encourage you to. Kasi may patutunguhan talaga yung nuclear energy. Yun talaga yung, guys, may patutunguhan to. So, sana one of you, no? Sana one of you will decide, at least one of you will decide to pursue nuclear engineering. Tapos, when you do, i-message nyo lang ako na, sir, na-inspire ka to pursue nuclear engineering. Kasi guys, kaya, ulitin ko lang ha, kaya mahal yung binabayaran natin saan ba kayo, Fibeco? Or, kaya mahal yung binabayad natin for electricity is because, ano ba yung sources na energy natin? Coal, renewable, yung geothermal, ano pa ba, hydroelectric, oil, crude oil, natural gas. So, mahal kasi yun. Kung mag-nuclear engineering tayo, at least ang laki, 'di ba? Na-discuss na natin 'to. Ang laki ng energy na makukuha natin sa maliit lang na quantity ng nuclear fuel. So, sana guys, sana ma-inspire kayo mag-nuclear engineering. And when you decide to pursue nuclear engineering, hit me up and I'll try to connect you to whatever. Let's see what we can do. Let's help the country, 'di ba? magtulungan tayo dito kasi yun naman yung goal. Kaya pinag-aaralan natin to. Kasi nga, gusto natin makatulong at the end of the day. So, yeah, sorry, ang dami kong sinabi. Eto na. Okay, so, can't share your screen. Hala, bakit? Stop sharing. Can't share your screen daw. Ayan, sorry, sorry. Okay, can you see my screen? Na ano po yung school na nag-offer na course? Oo naman. Um, I think abroad. Pero kasi pag may scholarship, edi hindi na problema yun, 'di ba? Example, I think the government offers scholarships on nuclear engineering and yun din, no? Problema din yung scholarship kasi yung pag government offered yung scholarship kasi minsan matagal mag-disburse ng pera. Wala tayong magagawa. Ganun talaga yung gobyerno. So, pero kasi, ano yun at least may hope, di ba, na pwede talaga kayo mag-pursue ng studies on nuclear engineering. And when you come back, if you pursue nuclear engineering abroad, sana makover kayo ng full scholarship. Kasi ibig sabihin nun, wala talaga kayong gagastusin. As in living expenses, tuition sa school na yon covered din ng scholarship. And up to um, all your study years yon, I think 2 years, or tapos mag-pursue pa kayo ng PhD, di mas maayos, 4 years yon. So, go guys. I really encourage you to be honest, ako sobrang close to considering nuclear engineering na talaga. Kung hindi lang na-fix yung mindset ko na gusto ko mag pursue ng further study sa chemical engineering, pag-iisipan ko talaga yung nuclear engineering kasi ang gandang track ng nuclear engineering, guys. At saka may ginagawa na ngayon yung PNRI na, Sir, may Nuclear Research Institute tayo sa Pilipinas. Yes! And I think nag-offer na yung South Korea to rehabilitate the Bataan Nuclear Power Plant. Kasi, sorry, stop share ko muna kasi wala pa tayong pinag-uusapan na combustion. Yung Bataan Nuclear Power Plant, sorry, ang dami kong sinasabi, hindi pa tayo start sa discussion. Pero sana, I hope you bear with me. Isa pa ang naka-PhD sa naka-PhD on nuclear engineering or naka-PhD in general. Kasi marami tayong PhD sa Pilipinas. Sa nuclear engineering, ayun, di ko sure kung ilan na. Pero baka si Dr. Arcilia pala yun, no? Yeah, where was I? Ano yung sinasabi ko? Nawala akong train of thought.
Katong kabataan siya.
Ayun,
Open
sorry.
for you, sir.
Yon. Yung South Korea nag-offer i-rehabilitate ang Bataan Nuclear Power Plant kasi yung nangyari is intact pa lahat ng facilities. Like, andun pa lahat ng equipment, andun lahat ng machines, andun yung nuclear core, reactor core. So, intact pa lahat. So, konting rehab na lang yung kailangan. So, hindi ko alam ano nangyari dun sa offer ng South Korea. Nakalimutan ko kung tinanggap ba yun or kung kaninong presidency yun in-offer. Pero, ayun, may future talaga tayo. And, I think the US, sige, which leads us to the slides na nga. Sorry, eto na. Ikaw, sir, mag-nuclear engineering kasi. Depende. Kasi currently, I'm considering, yun nga, graduate studies on chemical engineering. More on leaning towards environmental engineering. Kasi andun yung heart ko. I want to improve talaga the water quality of, let's say, na-mention ko kanina, di ba, we're going to an extension program activity tomorrow on Friday, kaya I won't be able to meet you. And that extension program, we will be visiting water source sa isang community sa Kibawe, sa Bukidnon. for those of you who aren't from Bukidnon, we have this municipality here called Kibawe, and one of the barangays, we will be going there on Friday. And we will assess kung okay ba ang water source nila. We'll assess the water quality of their spring source, of their water source. And andun din yung heart ko. Medyo, since laking ABE din ako, laking Agricultural Biosystems Engineering Department ako since 2019, dito ako nagturo. Na-expose din ako sa ganong aspect nga na I want to improve the water quality din of these communities. So that's why I'm really considering pursuing graduate studies on the improvement of environmental factors, and one of them is water quality. Pero kung hindi ako matanggap sa scholarship on sa a-applyan ko for that program, sa environmental engineering program, I really might consider nuclear engineering kasi sobrang inspiring talaga yung si Dr. Arcilia. It's a really good career path. Which brings me to this PowerPoint. Finally, sir, magsa-start na tayo sa PowerPoint. Eto na. Can you see my screen?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yung US kasi, yung United States, at the moment, their energy is sourced from nuclear power plants. Almost 20% of their energy is sourced from nuclear power plants. So sana all, 'di ba? I mean, sana yung Pilipinas din may nuclear energy na. Imagine 20%, 1/5 na yan ng energy mo galing sa nuclear power plants. Tayo, asan pa tayo? 0%. So sana makarating tayo sa point na at least man lang maka 20% ng ating energy manggagaling sa nuclear power plants. So that's the future I want to leave with you guys. Na sana magtulungan tayo. Sana mag-nuclear engineering kayo. Tapos, na-excite ako, guys. Sana mag-nuclear engineering kayo. Ay. Currently, 80% of this, nagnaay budget. Naalagi scholarship. Mangita lang yun ta. As in, sipag lang sa paghanap ng scholarship. Kung naabitaw mo heart yun, naganahan yun mo mag-graduate studies, medyo pahirapan sa paghanap ng scholarship, pero naagid na yung scholarship. So, ngayon pa lang, I'm telling you, ngayon pa lang, as early as now, kasi ako, stop ko lang saglit. Ako, nung undergrad ako, wala sa mindset ko mag-graduate studies. Kaya parang sakto lang din yung performance ko academically. Kasi nga, gusto ko lang makapagtapos, ganyan. Pero kasi pag andun yung mindset mo na, uy, o nga, sabi ni sir, option yung nuclear engineering. Kung gusto ko i-pursue nuclear engineering, dapat medyo ayusin ko yung aking undergrad, itong BS Mechanical Engineering performance ko. So ngayon pa lang, at least ngayon na ano tawag dyan, na set nyo na sa mind nyo na kailangan kong ayusin yung performance ko as a mechanical engineering student, as a BSME student, para okay yung ma-present kong credentials or parang potential student ako para sa nuclear engineering program, para matanggap ako sa program. Kasi ina-applyan yun. So, yeah. I really hope that you're considering nuclear. Bine-brainwash ko kayo mag-nuclear engineering. Pero hindi ko naman pinipilit, no? Pero kung gusto niyo talaga mag-mechanical engineering, mag-license mechanical engineering, tapos sakto na doon yung, hanggang doon lang talaga yung career path na gusto niyo, okay lang, hindi ko kayo pipilitin. Pero kung ma-inspire kayo mag-nuclear engineering, sorry, baka bibig ko na yung nuclear engineering. Kung na-inspire kayo, tapos nakapagtapos kayo, sana i-message niyo ako na, uy sir, ako yung I'm one of your students sa BSME 1A class. Tapos, eto na ako. Nakapagtapos ako ng nuclear engineering. Tapos, I'm now working under Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. Di ba pag minessage niya ako niyan, pwede na ako mamatay. As in, solve na ako. Parang, thank you. Thank you. Nakapag-inspire ako ng student mag-nuclear engineering. Graduate course, ang MS, naturally, 2 years. 2 years ang MS. Tapos PhD, 4 years. Kung hanggang MS lang, okay lang din. O plus 2 years lang yun. So, go na guys. O 'di ba, even yung US, 20% lang yung kanilang nuclear energy and as I said, sana ma-achieve yan ng Pilipinas. Pero currently, a huge majority are from natural gas, oil, and coal, totaling to about 62.4%. 4 years gap po na course. Ang graduate studies, 2 years lang na. 2 years. So, 4 semesters. Kung mag-PhD, yun yung 4 years. So, 2 years MS, 4 years PhD. So, further, yung PhD after pa ng MS. So, MS or Master of Philosophy. So, not sure kung Master of Science or Master of Philosophy or Master of Engineering. Basta, meron. For graduate studies, usually 2 years lang. Okay, going back, no? Ayan, so sabi ko kanina, 10 years? Kung ganahan mo mag-study forever, okay lang po. Kung ganahan mo mag 10 years nga mag-study. Basta ang goal is dili ka nang mag-study lang mo. Ang goal is ma-apply yung ma-studyhan. So, kamo kung ganahan mo mag-double MS degree, go lang. Basta ang goal is, you have a goal na gusto ko magamit yung expertise ko, yung experience ko. Oo, doktor talaga, pero Doctor of Philosophy. PhD. Dili tawag. Kung mag-medpod mo after ME, edi go lang. O ayan, so follow health and safety protocols para mabuhi mo for ano. O 'di ba, at least na may reason to live kung karon wala mo murag gilaay na mo sa pandemic kay unsa man ni sir, oy sige lang is balay tas puro akads lang, puro wala na may ginabuhat. At least na may something to look forward to. Hala, pwede day ko mag nuclear engineering. So pwede ko mag kung pwede ko mag ano, nakoy buhaton day sa akong future. Dili lang day ko ma-stuck aning pandemic. So o, di ba? Daghan tag options. Pwede po, mag-doctorate for job promotion. Basta, ano, magamit ang inyong expertise. O, ayan. Going back, eto na talaga. Start na talaga. So, energy from nuclear power plants. Pwede mag-med after makagraduate sa ME. Pwede. Pre-med. I think wala may limit sa kung unsa ang undergrad course for 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 medicine. Ang kailangan lang is an undergraduate degree. Tapos, yun lang. But naagani mga KME nga nag-medical doctor, nag-medicine after graduation. Okay, ito na talaga. Start na. Sorry ang daldal ko. Hoy, ayun na magpangutana kay dili jud ko maka-start ani og lesson. Kailangan na to mag-progress para short lang atong discussion tomorrow. Or pwede sad magtabi lang to today tapos ugma na to mag-lesson. Oh, eto na. Mag-start na ta. Ugma na. Uy, kamo bitaw, no? Funny lagi mo. Sige, answer lang na ni remaining questions. For Professor Asad ang mga webinar, ano. Dili, uy, ang National Convention na ay mga students nga nag-attend sa AMUA, sa PICHE nga National Convention, na ay mga chemical engineering students nga nag-attend. So, siguro ang issue lang is ang registration. Kay usually manggod ang mga convention or ang mga webinar kay naana siya yung registration fee. Tapos, I think naalay student rate. Mas gamay yun siya sa professional nga rate. Pero pero mag pre-med pa sir. Dili ang pre-med mo na to imuhang undergrad nga course, let's say ME. Mo to imuhang pre-med nga course. Ang kailangan lang man for medicine kay makapasa ka sa NMAT. Tapos 'di ba ang mo lang man ng prereq for medicine. Ang NMAT wala man siya requirement nga dapat ing-ani lang ang courses nga pwede mag-NMAT. So, I think 4-year course lang man ang kailangan. So, pag human kag ME, tapos ganyan ka mag-med, edi go, di ba? Why not? Tapos naagoy mga masters nga biomedical engineering. So, murag pointless nga ga-share kog screen. I-apply ninyo ang engineering skills ninyo sa medical field. Naapoy mo yung ano. As in, ako, ang chemical engineering, for example, na ay departments ang uban universities outside nga Department of Chemical and Biomedical Engineering. So pag engineering ka, dili lang ka malimit nga pag ME ko kanilang akong mga pwede buhaton. As in mo lagi akong ginaingon ganiha nga pag attend akong national convention na expand jud akong horizons like daghan day kay possibilities. And ang engineer pwede siya mag-pursue biomedical engineering graduate studies. ma-apply nimo to. Ang biomedical engineering, sorry, to give you an idea is how to use your engineering sense in the medical field. For example, ang pag-build ng ano ba, may isa pa kasing field called nanomedicine. So, usapang nanoparticles na tayo. Sorry, nag-leak na yung ating topic to the next topic, which is materials, material science and engineering. So, more on sa pag-develop ng materials na pwede ma-apply sa medicine. For example, yung mga grafts, yung mga kailangan, yung mga pang, more on sa grafts, ano pa ba yung application sa biomedical engineering? Basta marami pa, marami pa. Limited yung alam ko sa biomedical engineering field kasi wala ako doon. Pero sinasabi ko sa inyo na pag engineer ka, pwede ka mag-pursue talaga ng medical related na graduate studies. Mag-appeal mig webinar basta ikaw bayad sa registration. Ang registration, I think 500 siya sa students. Katong sa National Convention, atong pitche. Pero kung na ay upcoming na ano bitaw, naman po national nga mechanical engineers na group. Pangutan mo sa inyo ang ME nga prof. Kay sure ko naapod na conventions. Tapos pangutan na inyo prof kung pwede mag-register. Tapos pag i-friend-friend lang gud na inyong ME nga prof basi day makakuan mag-offer sila nga o sige i-subsidize na nako na imong kuan or i-cover na nako na imong registration sa National Convention di okay di ba? So ayun sana makaano mo. Anyway, ayan wala na question, pwede na tayo mag-proceed sa lesson. Sorry, until what time ta? 4, di ba? Ay, 4 ba?
Yes, sir.
Oh, 4. Ayan,
4.
meron pa tayong 45 minutes. Okay. So, energy from nuclear power plants sa US, ay hanon sila ng hawa, katong mag-start na kog lesson, kanigid sila. Sa US, almost 20% of their energy are sourced from nuclear power plants. A huge majority are from natural gas, oil, and coal. Ito si natural gas, ito si oil, ito si coal. So this is natural gas, konti, ayan, meron tayong oil dito, and ito si coal. So ito si natural gas, oil, and coal would total about 62.4%. So majority gumagamit ng fossil fuels. So I'm not sure if you've heard of fossil fuels. Let's look at the Philippines naman. Oh, wala lagi itong yellow nga part, sir. Ang Pilipinas. Sa Pilipinas, ito 2017 lang yung nahanap ko na data na latest. Wala akong nahanap na 2019. So this is the 2017 electricity generation of the 2017 electricity generation of the Philippines. So ayan, 48.2% from coal, 25% from renewable, 22 from gas, 4.1 from oil and other sources. So almost 3/4 of our energy, 75% of our energy is sourced from natural gas, from oil and coal. And to extract energy from natural gas, oil, and coal, these substances must undergo a process called combustion. So ito yung pag-uusapan natin for the next 2 weeks. Combustion, fuels and combustion. So what is combustion? It is a chemical reaction or from nuclear reaction, balik naman tayo sa chemical reaction. So combustion is a chemical reaction where a fuel and oxygen burn together at sufficiently high temperature. And yung resulta nito is heat and combustion products. So if these reactions produce heat, are they exothermic or endothermic? Okay, yung sagot is exothermic. Kasi naglalabas ng heat. So exo palabas. So naglalabas ng heat, exo naglalabas ng heat, thermic, exothermic. So combustion reactions are exothermic or they produce heat. So for combustion, I mentioned kanina na yung natural gas, oil, and um, ano yung isa, coal are fuels, fossil fuels. What are fuels? Fuels are substances that, when burned, release large amounts of heat, which can be used economically for domestic and industrial purposes. So, yung, for example, anong mga fuel nyo sa ginagamit sa bahay? Wala may ginagamit. Sorry, ano yan?
Sir.
Ano to? Dili clear. Shell?
Gas.
Shell ba yung giingon?
Uli.
Diesel. Sorry. Diesel ba? Sabi na ko Shell. Diesel. Oh, diesel. Gas. Petron. Oh, actually, yun. Example yun ng mga fuel. So, na-shock lang kung ano may petron sa inyo balay. Sa inyo balay, maganda kong question. Oh, ayan. So, yun yung example ng mga fuels. So, fuels are usually hydrocarbons. Hala, sir, nag-chemistry na punta. So, chemistry, magod niya atong lesson. So, hydrocarbons meaning comprised primarily of hydrogen and carbon atoms. Fossil fuels, so they're a specific kind of fuels, are fuels derived from remains of plant and animal life that have decayed and condensed long enough to become either coal, petroleum, or natural gas. So petroleum is just crude oil. So ito yung oil na nasa graphs kanina. So fossil fuels, imagine nyo na lang pag nag-decay yung organic matter, let's say, ang mga katawan ng mga hayop, ganyan, or mga plants, nag-decay sila over time, na-compress sila under the earth, tapos pag na-compress na sila under the earth, pag na-condense na sila long enough, they become fossil fuel. So either may coal, petroleum, or natural gas. And 75% of the energy used by the Pilipinas is from fossil fuels. So coal, gas, oil, the rest renewable. So dito si geothermal, hydroelectric, wind. So, ano yan? Okay sa kaila sa ilaha?
猜是
Twice. O yan. Meron tayong mga onse dito. Oh, so for you, kasi itong mga onse, for you, what is love?
Love is blind.
Love is blind. Oh, for the others, what is love?
Love is Love.
Johnny is love daw. Wow! May mga pag-confess ng nararamdaman dito. So, oh, for the others, what is love? Wala na. 38
classmate daw,
love.
sir.
Love is sacrifice daw.
Danger daw, sir.
Sorry sila. Oy.
Ako naman,
Dengue.
sir.
Wala
Jason
na.
TV daw, sir.
Love is in the air. Gina-describe ninyo ang kung saan kahitabo sa love, pero ayan, oh, love is a set of emotions and behaviors daw, characterized by intimacy, passion, and commitment. So, nigi-google ni or imugi from the heart gid ni siya. Psalm 3:16. Ana si Kim Chu. Ano say Psalm 3:16? Ay, harang love, sir, kung mag-send og answer. Ay, love is delikids. Love is a feeling that you want to cherish. Love na ko si King. Ay, ayan na. So, ayan na,
Jason Love TV daw, sir.
may naungkat akong mga emotions dito sa chat. So, sorry sa mga na-bring up kong past or hurtful memories. Love ni Jason si Feby. So, ayan na. Okay, sige, kahit pag-usapan niya yan after yung mga inter-student relationships. Wala akong ano dyan O love ko nuclear engineering. Okay, eto na. So I brought that question up because ganahan ko sa description sa one of the authors that of the book that I read. So sabi dito, love is the only way to grasp a human being in the innermost core of his personality. By his love, he is enabled, my typo pa. He is enabled to see the essential traits and features in the beloved person. And even more, he sees that which is potential in him, which is not yet actualized but yet ought to be actualized. Viktor Frankl from Man's Search for Meaning. So sabi ni Viktor Frankl, love daw is seeing the essential traits and features in the beloved person and even more. So nakikita niya ngayon yung traits ng certain person. But sabi ni Viktor Frankl, even more daw. So there's more pa daw. Sabi ni Viktor Frankl, hindi lang natin nakikita yung traits ngayon, but we also see that which is potential, yung pwedeng mangyari sa taong yon. So love mo, let's say, sabi dito si Jason daw, love niya si Feby. So sabi si Jason, kunwari lang to ha, di ako sure kung totoo, pero let's say, si Jason love niya si Feby for who Feby is right now. Pero sabi ni Viktor Frankl, si Jason daw, love niya rin si Feby. Kung love niya talaga si Feby, ibig sabihin, Jason will also love Feby for who Feby will be. You know. So let's say si Feby, si Feby ngayon, mechanical engineering student. So si Jason daw, love niya si Feby, kahit nag-decide si Feby na, ay, ayoko na pala maging mechanical engineering student or gusto ko na mag-shift ng course. Kung ano man yung pwedeng mangyari kay Feby, yung potential na mangyayari kay Feby, yung potential na what Feby might grow to, what Feby might become in the future, love pa rin siya ni Jason. So yun yung love daw, sabi ni Viktor Frankl. Yung not only the now, but also the potential who you are. The potential person. That is who you will be. So yun daw, sabi ni Viktor Frankl. That is also love. So sabi ni Viktor Frankl, he had this concept of a potential for people that even though, kahit daw hindi pa na-actualize yun, let's say sabi ni Feby, parang after ng discussion ni Sir, after ng intro ni Sir, gusto ko maging doctor after graduation. So kahit daw hindi pa yun nangyayari, or hindi pa naging doctor si Feby, love pa rin ni Jason si Feby. So ayan, yun daw yung love, sabi ni Viktor Frankl. He had this concept of a potential. Ano kinalaman nun sa fuels, Sir? It is the same with fuels. So for fuels, itong potential na to, we call this the calorific value. So yung fuel, let's say hindi pa natin sinusunog, ina-appreciate na natin na pag sinunog natin yan, meron siyang mabibigay sa atin na energy. Meron siyang potential, kaya niyang ibigay yung ganitong level of energy. Ito yung potential ng fuel na to. That is what we call the calorific value. So the calorific value is the total quantity of heat liberated or that could be liberated. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na potential. When a certain quantity of fuel is completely burnt. So since heat can be expressed either in calories or joules, the calorific value is expressed in quantity of heat per quantity of fuel. So calories per kilogram, kilojoules per liter, joules per kilogram, kilojoules per kilogram, megajoules per cubic meter. So basta ang unit sa calorific value is quantity of heat, that is calories, joules, per quantity of fuel, that is kilograms, liters, cubic meters, ano pa yung quantities, grams, cubic centimeters, milliliters. So yan, yun yung units na ating calorific value. And just remember this conversion factor. 1 calorie is equal to 4.184 joules. So the calorific value can be further classified as either the gross calorific value or the net calorific value. The gross calorific value or GCV, is the total quantity of heat liberated when the fuel is completely burnt. So let's say, sinunog na natin si fuel. And yung combustion products, kukunin pa natin yung heat na makukuha natin sa combustion products when they cool down to room temperature. So as an equation, sir, may equation pa. So GCV, don't worry, hindi natin to gagamitan na equation kasi effort. GCV is equal to heat of reaction. Yun yung sinasabi ko kanina, diba, na exothermic ang combustion process kasi it produces heat. So GCV is the heat of reaction. Yun yung na-produce na heat from the exothermic reaction. Plus latent heat of steam produced. So latent heat is the heat na kailangan para mag-change ng phase si water to steam. And then sensible heat from cooling combustion products to room temperature. So ayun na, pag na-cool down si combustion products, may makukuha tayong heat from that. So basically, lahat ng heat na pwedeng kunin, yun si gross calorific value. That is why this is also known as the higher calorific value or the higher heating value. So again, it is the total quantity of heat. Lahat ng pwede nating makuha heat from the fuel, yun si gross calorific value. On the other hand, si net calorific value is the quantity of heat liberated when the fuel is completely burnt and the combustion products are allowed to escape. So hindi na natin kukunin si heat from the combustion products. So NCV is just GCV minus the latent heat of water vapor formed. So since mas mababa to kasi nga meron tayong hinahayaan na pinapatakas na combustion products, this is also known as the lower calorific value kasi naturally, mas mababa talaga yung value niya or the lower heating value. So below are a few of the calorific values of common fuel. So as you can see, the net calorific value is always less than the gross calorific value. And these values are in megajoules per kilogram. So again, calorific value is expressed in quantity of heat. In this case, this is megajoules per quantity of fuel. In this case, that is kilograms. So, ayan. Megajoules per kilogram. So, ayan. Marami palang energy na mabibigay sa atin. Si natural gas, tapos si gasoline, diesel fuel, ganyan. So, another important characteristic of a fuel is the ignition temperature, which is the minimum temperature at which a fuel catches or burns. So, knowing that, ito question. When choosing a romantic partner, boyfriend or girlfriend, what are your non-negotiables? Ano yung hinahanap niya sa tao para makonsider niya na, ito, pwede ko tong jowain. Pwede kong gawing boyfriend, girlfriend. O sige, Jason, andyan ka ba? Jason, what are you looking for in a person na non-negotiable? Kailangan ganito siya. Ivor ang pangalan. O sige, oo Jason, ikaw talaga. O goal-oriented daw, sabi ni April. Kailangan daw goal-oriented. Rich, okay lang. Sabi ni Alexandria. Sabi ni Alex, kailangan daw mayaman. O pag dili ka dato, ayaw nagduol ka, Alex. Sabi, unsa man ni si Jason, kanang R18 lang. Uy, unsa man ni siya. Kanang R18 kay recorded ba yan yung mga ginapangsulat diri? Lami musturya. Okay. Guwapo daw o guwapa. Kay Brian, sir, kay si Dania. Ay, hala na. Responsible daw. Mature og mindset. O, ayan, nagsalita na si Jason. Sabi niya, non-negotiable daw. Dapat mature og mindset. Same interests. Wala na. Going once. Going twice. Dakog batasan. Wala na ako na gets. Okay, ayan. So, alalain lagi mo. Uy, recorded ba yan inyong mga ginachat karon ha? I-send yun ako ng Word file sa inyong mga ginachat sa group chat para makitaan sa uban sa ilahang na-miss. Ayan. So, going back, ganun ask mo ako ito siya ng question. So, it's the same with fuels. Ayan. So, fuels din, for fuels in us, and choosing fuels, meron din tayong mga characteristics na i-consider. So, kailangan, di ba kayo, ang dami yung requirements para lang sa boyfriend, girlfriend. Kailangan ganito siya. Kailangan mature yung mindset. Kailangan goal-oriented. Kailangan rich siya. Kailangan mayaman. Kailangan responsible. So, dapat, in choosing fuels and choosing whatever fuel we need to use, kailangan i-consider din natin yung characteristics. Kailan mo, ani, nga tao? Wala mo kaila, ani? Kinsa? Si Dio. Tama, CDO.
Jason, mas na sir.
Wow, alahi, Rajun. Muna gisugot ka ni Feby. Ay, ikaw ba ang nanguyab? Kalok
Dili
alike
man
yun.
mi uyab, sir.
Di, sorry,
Sir, bot na na.
kinsa
Wag.
nag-assume. Kinsa man sila,
Oh.
oy.
Dili pa,
Sir,
sir.
friends ra gani. Friends ra gani mi ni Jason,
Friends,
sir.
sorry. Friends lang pala
Hashtag
sila.
friend zone.
Hoy, kamo bitaw no. Friends lang man day sila, kamo jud. Inyo jud kung ginakuan. Atik jud ko ninyo. So for fuels daw, requirements para malaman natin kung maganda yung fuel. Huy, kinsa ning naka-on ang mic? Si Ruel Jaffet, i-mute kita. Ayan. Ito daw yung requirements para malaman natin na okay yung fuel. So, it has to have high calorific value kasi nga 'di ba yun yung energy na makukuha natin pag na-burn yung fuel. So dapat high calorific value. Dapat moderate ignition temperature. Yung ignition temperature, yung temperature na kailangan para ma-burn siya. So kailangan hindi ganun kataas kasi basig mo abot ang point na daga na kay tag energy nga gina-apply para ma-burn siya tapos dili gihapon ga ka-burn ang fuel. That means taas ra kayo iyang ignition temperature. So dapat sakto lang iyang ignition temperature. Pag low pod ang ignition temperature, basig masunog siya nga ato pa lang gina-transport ang fuel, wala pa siya nakaabot sa combustion nga furnace. So wala pa siya nakaabot sa power plant, masunog na ang fuel kay mobo man kay ang ignition temperature. So dapat sakto lang moderate ignition temperature. Tapos dapat low ang contents of non-combustible matter kasi what we want nga is the content that can give us energy. Non-combustible meaning it will not undergo combustion or dili siya masunog, dili siya ma-use up. So dili nato gusto na ing ana content kasi nga gusto natin yung content niya is that masusunog. Kasi pag nasunog, yun yung magbibigay sa atin ng energy. Dapat din the fuel has low moisture content. Kasi pag mataas yung moisture content, ibig sabihin, parang moisture meaning water. Pag basa siya, magiging steam lang siya. Instead of, or sayang yung, let's say kasi yung, di ba nga, one of the calorific values is the net calorific values. And for that, we just release yung other combustion products. And in this case, si steam, hindi natin makukuha yung energy na makukuha natin pag pina-cool down natin si steam. So gusto natin low moisture content. And we also want the fuels to be free from objectionable and harmful gases like carbon monoxide, yung mga SOx natin, sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide. We also don't want hydrogen sulfide. Ito mga combustion products that can harm the environment. Gusto din natin moderate velocity of combustion. Also, combustion should be controllable. And syempre, yung fuels dapat easy to transport din. Baka ang sobrang laki ng cost or sobrang laki ng energy or ng effort required to transport the fuel. So, hindi na rin siya efficient. And it should be readily available. Kasi pag hindi siya readily available, baka mas magastos pa yung pag-obtain ng fuel kaysa sa makukuha nating profit from combustion of the fuel. So it should be cost-effective kasi nga ayaw din natin na sobrang mahal ng fuel. And it should be sustainable kasi sustainability na yung labanan ngayon. Whatever we do, whatever research projects we do, gusto natin sustainable or hindi siya maka-harm sa Earth or whatever the Earth can consistently provide or yun nga, it will not be harmful to the Earth and if ever man we get raw materials from the Earth, hindi natin mas mabilis yung pag-renew ng Earth, pag-replenish ng Earth ng kanyang resources kaysa pagkuha natin ng resources, kaysa pag-deplete natin ng resources. So, ayan, we're not done yet. We're done with one set of slides. But at this point, sorry. We'll talk about how fuels are usually classified. So, fuels can be classified according to their physical state. So solid, liquid, gaseous, and according to whether they are sourced naturally or artificially. So pag natural yung source, primary fuels ang tawag. Pag kailangan pa siya i-synthesize or i-process para magamit siya as a fuel, these are called secondary fuels. So we have solid, liquid, gas, and we have primary and secondary fuels. So primary solid fuels include wood. Meron tayong wood, peat, lignite, coal. So ito pag-uusapan natin to in the next slides. For liquid fuels na primary din, we have crude oil, that's petroleum. And we have natural gas, which is also a fossil fuel. So ito, meron tayong fossil fuels dito sa primary fuels. So, yung fossil fuels natin, primary fuels sila. For secondary naman, we have wood charcoal and coke. So, ito galing to sa wood. So, synthesized from wood. So, we also have kerosene, petrol, diesel, alcohol. So, possible na ito galing din to sa crude oil. And we also have water gas, producer gas, biogas, LPG. What is LPG? Hala. What is LPG?
Gamit
Gagamit
ng luto.
Oh, ano sa may meaning sa LPG? Ginagamit din yung LPG, wala ko kabalon sa na.
Low price gas.
Liquefied petroleum gas. Ayan, ang bilis mag-Google. Joke lang, wala tayo judge. Oh, ayan, love paghihapon. Inspired lagi ni si Koan.
Bulagan mo na sir.
Kana sir, bago nagibulagan.
Wala siya. Wala ko giingon na. Sila
Iyakin
to.
na.
Yes, naka-record.
Huy, kamo bitaw no, kung gibulagan, ayaw ninyo awaya kay imbis siya gani ang ga-undergo, ga-process sa iyahang breakup, di ba? Basig siya noon ang kailangan og comfort. So,
Dagan nga naka-video call sir.
ayaw ninyo awaya kay siya ang kailangan og support at this time.
Tinder.
Insta si Laika.
Oh, basta ano. Oh, going back. Oh, for solid fuels, we'll only tackle a few. So, we talk about wood. So, yung wood, ito, kabalungan mo sa itsura sa wood, no? This is a low-grade solid fuel. Kasi nga, low-grade, kasi konti lang yung energy na makukuha natin. Pag freshly cut siya, yung wood, yung moisture niya usually is 25 to 50%. But when it's dried, ito na yung composition niya. 55% is carbon, 6% is hydrogen, 43% oxygen, and 1% ash. So, konti lang yung carbon content. So, ito kasing carbon content, ito yung nagko-combust. Ito yung mag-undergo ng combustion. Ito yung magbibigay sa atin ng heat. So, key component in choosing fuels is looking at the carbon content. So, 55% lang siya for wood. And yung calorific value na kayang ibigay ng wood sa atin is around 3,500 to 4,500 kilocalories per kilogram. So, kcal per kilogram. And we will also talk about coal. So, ito si coal, hindi ito si charcoal. Kasi si charcoal, galing siya sa wood. The coal that we are talking about here is the natural fuel formed by the slow carbonization of organic matter buried under the earth thousands of years ago. So ito, minimina pa. This is being mined. So I'm sure you've heard of coal mines, di ba? Kadung naman sa unsa ng mga coal mines? Kinsa nakatan-aw og Barbie, Princess and the Pauper? Wala mo pakita na. Grabe, wala mo kakita og Barbie, Princess and the Pauper.
Wala sir.
Nako, grabe. Muna ang best Barbie movie in my
Tungog
opinion.
na ay.
So, kung magtanaw man mo Barbie movie, kadto ang best nga movie. So, kadtong kambal. Well, dili sila kambal. Mura sila kambal. Magkamukha sila. So,
Sabi ko,
kitsa to. Ay, may gusto mong intermission number?
Si Ruel daw, sir. Si Ruel.
Nagpuho daw si Kyle.
Oh, pero
Ruel
going
daw,
back,
sir.
naman going mine dito na ay coal mine, tapos na sila ay na ay, ayun, gamayin sila og coal, tapos na, gakahutdan na sila og, gaka-deplete na ilahang resources. So, ayun, coal is, dili ni siya mao ang charcoal ha, kaya ang charcoal, gikan naman na siya sa kahoy nga gisunog. So, ang coal, mo ni siyang ginamine pa, ginamina. So, coal has 4 stages. So, the first stage of formation is peat. This is, etong wood, later on, nag-decay siya, nag-undergo siya o decomposition, nag-condense siya under the earth's surface. Tapos pag wala pa kayo siya nag-condense to the point na mahimo na siyang katong ginamina, peat pa lang ang tawag sa iya ha. So this is considered a low-grade fuel. This is brown, fibrous, and jelly-like. So it has 80 to 90% moisture. So daghan pa kayo siya moisture. So kaya siya low-grade fuel. Kay, again, dili na to gusto ng moisture. Gusto ta, mainly, carbon ang composition sa fuel. So, composition niya is close to wood pa lang kasi nga, kakagaling niya pa lang sa pagiging wood. 57% carbon. So, yung calorific value niya, close to wood lang din, 5,400 kcal per kilogram. So, this is commonly used as domestic fuel. Kanang mga pang-siga, pang-sugnod, ana-ana. So the second stage is lignite. So this is the intermediate stage of formation of coal. So this is still brown, this is fibrous, but this has significantly less moisture compared to the first stage, which is peat. So lignite can range from 20 to 60% moisture. And it also has a relatively higher carbon content, so 60 to 70% carbon. And it has higher calorific value, 6,500 to 7,100 kilocalories per kilogram. So this is commonly used again as domestic fuel, but also in boilers. The third stage is bituminous coal. So this is considered high quality. This is black, medyo brittle siya, and it has low moisture, 4% moisture. So composition nito is 83%. So, ang taas na ng carbon content niya compared to peat and lignite. So, notably, mas mataas din yung calorific value, 8,500 kilocalories per kilogram. And this is also still used as domestic fuel, boiler fuel, and in the making of Coke. Dili Coke as in Coca-Cola ha. Coke is just this is from, nakalimutan ko yung tawag. Balik, sinusunog siya without the presence of air. Kalimut ko sa tawag. Sa mga trains, yes. Oh no, wala na ako na-edit ang slide. Teka lang. Wala na ako na-edit ang title sa slide. Sorry. Sorry, intermission.
Kyle, intermission daw.
Okay, ayan. The most mature form of coal is anthracite. So this is the superior grade of coal. So again, first level is peat, tapos lignite, tapos bituminous, tapos anthracite. So this is also black, but this is harder than bituminous. So this has minimal moisture. And kung titingnan natin yung composition, this is almost 100% carbon, 92 to 98% carbon. And among the four, this has the highest calorific value at 8,700 kcal per kilogram. So this is commonly used as domestic fuel, boiler fuel, or in metallurgical furnaces. So let's quickly go through liquid fuels lang din. So yun yung solid fuels natin lang na pag-uusapan. And for liquid fuels, we talk about first, petroleum. So petroleum is also known as crude oil. I think yung mga, pag ginugol nyo yung petroleum, yung lalabas na pictures ay mga tin cans na malalaki, mga drums na malalaki Tapos black yung kulay. Pero actually, ito yung kulay niya talaga, dark greenish to brown. And it's super viscous. Tapos ang dami niyang compositions, depende sa source. May ibang sources na mas viscous, may iba na less viscous kasi depende sa paraffin content which makes it waxy. And yung paraffin is a hydrocarbon. And petroleum is basically composed mainly of hydrocarbons, so mga HC ulit to, plus small amounts of organic impurities. So organic impurities meaning nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur. And since meron siyang impurities upon extraction, it will need to undergo a purification process, which is what we call refining. So I'm not sure if you've heard, but meron tayong mga petroleum refineries. So this here is an example of a distillation column. So refining of petroleum is the process of purification, effectively separating various components present in petroleum by a process called fractional distillation. So basically, ang meaning nito is lahat ng components ng petroleum ihihiwalay natin from each other. So this is the separation of various components of a liquid mixture based on the difference in their boiling points by repeated evaporation and condensation. So, papainitin natin such that mag-evaporate lahat ng pwedeng mag-evaporate. Tapos at certain points sa column, magko-condense yung iba. So, but before we subject this to the fractional distillation column, we first remove the impurities. So the first part of petroleum refining is the removal of impurities. And itong mga impurities include water. Kasi nga ayaw natin si water. So water droplets, they are separated from the oil by Cottrell's method using electrode. So itong si crude oil, ipapadaan siya sa 2 electrodes. Tapos yung mangyayari is yung water droplets, they will lump together kasi magkakahiwalay yung water droplets. Pero pag na-expose sila doon, magla-lump together yung water droplets tapos mas madali nang ma-separate sa oil. And we also separate or remove excessive salts, sodium chloride, magnesium chloride, kasi they can corrode the equipment. So, corrosion, electrochemistry na naman. So they are removed by washing with water, also known as crude desalting or electric desalting. Sulfur, we also remove this by treating oil with copper oxide and magkaka-product siya na copper sulfide. Tapos kailangan din itong i-remove through filtration. And we also remove the basic impurities using sulfuric acid, and we remove acidic impurities using sodium hydroxide. Pag tapos na siya dito sa removal of impurities, pwede na natin siya isabak sa part 2, which is the fractional distillation column. So yung mangyayari dito, we heat crude oil to about 400 degrees Celsius. So i-heat natin siya dito and then we pump it to the fractional distillation column. Pag 400 degrees Celsius, at that temperature, ang daming mag-evaporate. So, ang daming mag-evaporate dito sa labas sa taas. So, aakyat siya, aakyat. Tapos mag-evaporate yung iba. Pero at some point in this column, mas mababa na yung temperature niya. Now, at some temperatures, magko-condense yung ibang components. So, ito, mataas pa yung temperature niya. Tapos magko-condense yung iba dito. Kasi pagdating dito, mababa na yung temperature niya pagdating dito. Dito pinakamataas yung temperature, bale. So dito, mataas yung temperature, tapos ipapump, dito, pataas. So pagdating dito, mababa na yung temperature niya. Tapos pwede kasi na pag mababa na yung temperature mo, magko-condense ka na. Magko-condense ka na back to your liquid form. So yung mako-collect dito sa pinakataas, yun yung mga mababa ang boiling point. So those with the lowest boiling points are collected at the top of the fractionating column or the fractional distillation column. So again pag lower boiling points, mas mataas ka sa distillation column. Pag mas mababa ang boiling point mo. So let's start with Or bukas na to? Bukas na tayo mag-start, okay lang ba? Or ganahan pa mo? 7 minutes na lang man, good. Oh, sige, tomorrow na. Let's continue this tomorrow. Ayan, so pag-isipan niyo yung aking nuclear engineering offer. Murag ako gid ang ga-offer no sa scholarship. Pero yun, sana makonsider nyo. Para dili na ta mag-combustion kay mahal kayo atong bill, di ba? Pila inyo ginabayaran sa electricity karon? $1K to 2K a month? 2.9 a month?
2.9, sir.
Grabe. Grabe. 3K exage. Asa man mo gapuyo? Anong taas kayo mo electric bill? O diba, taas kayo tag-electric bill. So, kailangan yun nato ni-improve. Na may welding. Yun, so, kailangan natin tulungan ang Pilipinas. So, pag mag-nuclear manggod ta, sure kung magbaba yun ng price sa electricity. Kay, napag-usapan na natin to last week kung gaano kadaming energy yung kayang i-generate ng nuclear power plant. So, mababa dyan ng price sa kuan, electricity. So, munang goal, munang ganahan ta mo i-encourage nga mag-nuclear engineering para masugdan na nato ng nuclear power plant sa Pilipinas, di ba? Okay, sige. That's all for this afternoon. If you have no more questions, thank you for coming. Paalam. See you tomorrow afternoon. I'll announce what time na lang through the group chat or through Google Classroom. Okay, that's all. Thank you for coming. Paalam.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon.